Everybody's nervous. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Montel's Random Podcast. Today, we have another guest that will be going through a gauntlet of questions, so I'm pretty excited about that. Today, Miss Sandra is here. So we're going to get ready to get started with this, but just remember, if you want to get some customizable products and gift ideas, you can always go to www.zazzle.com/CSM_LIVE_INC. Pick you out something patriotic today. Yeah. All right, so let's get started. Sandra, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, So, normally what we do on this interview podcast, which is extremely random, we ask random questions to learn about a person and things about their life. And sometimes I throw in some funny conspiracy stuff. So we'll see if we'll get into that today. All right, so why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Indiana, basically suburbia.
You know what's funny? Is the last person I interviewed grew up in Indiana.
I think we grew up near each other.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Okay. So how was it growing up?
Good. Typical childhood, I guess. We, like I said, lived in basically suburbia. Mm-hmm. What you would imagine seeing on TV is the exact way we grew up.
Yeah, because to me, typical childhood, there was no typical with me growing up. We worked hard, grew up on the farm, very strict father is, very interesting. Okay, cool. So, but what did you do? Like, what was your parents' profession, if you don't mind me asking?
So my mom is a pharmacist.
Oh, wow.
And my dad, this is a hard question because I never really know what he does.
Not drug dealer?
No.
Okay, good. So, not drug dealer, ladies and gentlemen.
He works in technology, usually manages engineers, and works for whatever they do.
Do you know the name of his company?
No.
So he works for the government?
No, he does not work for the government.
Interesting. So what are some funny family stories that you could share with the world?
What kind of story?
This show is not PG, by the way.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stories, a lot of dumb stuff that we got into when we were young.
What do kids growing up in your era do in Indiana?
Play outside.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay. You're not of this generation, obviously.
No. So we always played outside. We grew up with our neighbor. They were our best friends. We would always go to the pool. We'd always go to their house. My parents never bought like junk food and stuff growing up, so we would love to go over there because their mom always had it. They also had like Xbox, and we didn't have Xbox, so we'd play Dance Dance Revolution during the summer.
I never played that shit.
Oh, that's what we play all the time. Kickball, I don't know. Just,
a lot of people don't know about kickball.
Really?
A lot of people don't. Yep. You'd be surprised. A lot of people don't know about that. I loved it. I was a kickball champion. Yeah. So that's good stuff. So of that childhood, what are some of the happiest moments of your life growing up?
I think most of it, honestly. I have really no complaints about how my little sister grew up very differently than I did, but my older sister and I, we pretty much palled around together for everything. We were around the same age, so we had the same friends. It was pretty carefree, luckily. I mean, a pretty carefree childhood. I don't know, we played outside a lot, like I said. We did a lot of family vacations, which is something that I know a lot of people don't get to do because my dad is not from the U.S. So even just visiting his family, we would make a trip out of it. So
where?
He's from France.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And my mom's side of the family, most of them pretty much divvied up as well. And her two brothers don't live in the States either. So just going to visit family was kind of a whole ordeal. We made a couple weeks trip out of the year. So very fortunate, and a lot of opportunities that we got that other people probably didn't get when they were growing up.
Well, I mean, when your father works for the CIA, he does not work for the CIA, people. I'm just making this shit up as I go along. Jesus.
My mom's friends that she used to work with did think he was a spy.
Of course.
For a very long time.
Of course.
Because he used to
His daughter doesn't even know where he works. Like,
he used to travel a lot for work, so he'd probably be gone 2 weeks out of the month every month. So my mom would take us to places. Sometimes we'd go to work with her when we were young and didn't have anyone to watch us.
Never went to his job, huh?
No.
Interesting. That is very interesting. So, like, currently right now, up until this day, is your life on the glide path that you've wanted, or has anything changed? How is it different than what you would have imagined?
I don't think I ever would have imagined myself in the position I'm in today.
Really?
Yes. So.
What? But you're so passionate about your job, though. Well, you play passionate well. Yeah. So why do you think that, or you said you didn't think that you would be in this position? Why is that?
No. So my uncle was always in the military growing up, obviously, and when I was young, that was the only thing he was doing. So he always kind of pushed me to go the military route. I had other ideas. So initially, when I was in high school, when I was in kindergarten, I wanted to be a bus driver. That obviously I got over very quickly.
Wait, hold the fuck up. Like, who the fuck envisions I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna drive buses?
I don't know, but we had a like dress. What are they called? When you're in like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, it's like dressed as the occupation you want when you're older.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Dressed as a bus driver. I don't know how they dress, but I dressed as one.
Guess what I wanted to be?
Is it stereotypical of a young child?
No, just what do you think? What do you think I grew up wanting to be? Exactly what I am right now.
I don't even know. Oh,
exactly
really?
what I am right now. I grew up in the 8th grade. I went to a recruiter, said I want to join, and they said, "Get your little black ass out of here." That's what they told me. Like, literally, left crying. I went to a state fair and I heard Billy Ray Cyrus perform "Proud to Be an American," and I said, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to join the military," and I did. So yeah, it's funny how that works. I never in my wildest dreams did I say, "Oh, I want to be a bus driver."
Yeah, so I got over that pretty quickly. So then it was a vet.
That's funny.
And then it was go to medical school. And then when I went to college, even like, so you know how you get there a couple weeks early and some more introduction and orientation, all that stuff. Before I even started school, I was like, no, it's going to be too much school. And I changed my major before I even had my first day of class.
Wow.
Yeah, and then everything else kind of fell into place.
So what do you do now?
So I'm a dietitian now, mostly seeing inpatients, so hospitalized patients for the most part. Some outpatient here and there, but the majority of patients I see are hospitalized patients, so education, nutrition support, recommendations, so forth.
Okay. So being that you're a dietitian, I know a lot of people have this question. What are some of the common myths that you want to debunk about being a dietitian?
Everything basically that's on TikTok right now.
Totally agree.
Take your pick. Chlorophyll, no need.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's funny that people actually think that drinking that and incorporating it into their foods, that's very interesting.
You already eat it.
Yeah, it's
lot
everywhere.
Of it. Any plant that you eat that's green.
Oh, that's funny. So, how old are you?
25.
25. So, up until right now, what is something that you're most proud of when it comes to just in general?
I think hitting milestones in my life. I own a house now. I definitely didn't envision myself doing that, 3 years ago, even. I was able to get my master's degree, something I also didn't even aspire to really do, but I'm glad that I did it. Other milestones, I've gotten married, again, something I probably didn't expect to do this young. So
yeah, that's young.
I feel like I've accomplished a lot in 25 years that a lot of my peers that I went to school with haven't yet. So, it makes me proud that I've kind of surpassed my own expectations for myself.
Yeah, that's good. That's a lot of accomplishments in that period of time. Wow. Yeah, I didn't know the master's degree thing, so that's crazy. I don't even want to imagine what your study regimen was during college, because that's 25 masters. That's pretty damn accomplished. So, speaking of your career, what advice would you give to somebody that wants to pursue a career as a dietitian?
I think you have to have the patience for it. So there's a lot of non-compliance, and I think people want an easy fix, and that's not the case with anything diet or regimen wise. Pretty much for anything, there's not an automatic fix. There's not like an easy pill. I mean, people get frustrated by that, and that they have to put in work. So being patient with patience.
Yeah.
If you don't have the patience for it, don't do it, because it's very frustrating getting people over and over that say they want to make all these changes but can't commit to making a change.
Agreed. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting when a person says that they want to make the change, and you literally can see them resisting the change. Mm-hmm. And I've never understood that. It's a very interesting concept, especially in the realm that we work in. So it's very, very interesting. So you're 25. What do you wish you had known 10 years ago? That's probably a silly question because you were a kid.
Anything business, money-wise. Anything money-wise. I don't feel like I knew until I was an adult, like amortization, how loans work, how to apply for these things. I didn't know any of that. And these are like all learn as you go. And now I'm like, well, I'm definitely messed up in some areas.
I agree. I feel like the biggest idiot when it comes to making bad choices for investments. So that's why I got into reading like the market prospectus and understanding the flow and the different types of stocks and all this other stuff, right? So when Bitcoin first came out, I think I may have told you that story once before. I bought $100 worth of Bitcoin. I didn't even make it 30 days, and I pulled my money out. What an idiot I was. I could have been one of those top 2 billionaires that first came out. I could have been one of those guys. Idiot. Pure idiot. So that's what kind of got me into doing a lot more research about that, because, oh man, there's so much money to be made out there, and I didn't know. And
yeah,
it was a horrible learn as you go thing.
I just terrible. Started investing in stocks, and I am net negative.
Oh wow!
So,
damn,
we're not
what
doing
are you
great.
Investing in?
Well, I don't know. That's the problem. Is I probably need to learn what are better investment options.
Wow. Yeah, that's terrible.
It's a work in progress.
Oh man. Okay, so we only have a couple more questions, and so I'll and then we'll move into one, maybe 2 conspiracy theories. So, for you, what does the future hold?
I don't really know. It's kind of as I go. Things are good right now, so I plan on continuing the path I've been going on. Ideally, as of right now, pending life, I would like to stay in the military for a full career.
Okay.
Ideally. My husband is also in the military, so obviously that presents hardships itself with everything family life. So if things go as planned, I would like to do a full Army career, retire, and I want to flip houses as my future goal.
Do you have like interior decorating skills or? So
I like to refurbish furniture. Okay. So I've already done that with even our dining room table, our kitchen chairs, reupholstering. So I've done it already. I'd like to do it.
Wait, so when you say reupholstering, are you the one that you buy the freaking the varnish to stain?
Yes.
And you sand down you do all that?
It was a real bitch to do the chairs.
I would have never thought. I would have never thought that you do that. Yeah. I'm into that type of stuff too. So
I really like it, and I want to learn carpentry. So at Lowe's, they have those DIY classes. They're closed now because of COVID, but when they open up, I want to learn how to do I want to be able to do most of a house myself.
So cheap. It's so much more cheap to do it yourself. It really is. Well, once you get good at it, but along coming into doing that stuff or becoming really good at it, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. Like a lot of the people that they measure once and they cut twice, and when it's supposed to be measured twice, cut once. But yeah, so you'll maybe you learned that already, maybe you haven't, but you will. So How would you like to be remembered? I know that's a very loaded question for such a young person.